Okay, we're going to start making our knob for this. I have two sizes of these. I did give a few of these away to some of my subs, viewers. We're going to drill a hole in here. Don't worry about that wire. We're going to start with a small bit. We don't want to snag on that. You see it down inside there? These were off a lamp. It was like a bunch of grapes made in back in the 70s disco era. Stuff, gaudy stuff they had back then. Okay, this is the biggest socket I have. It is a whatever 32 millimeter. I think I got it for a nut for a CV shaft. Yes, I think I did. Okay, we're gonna get it in there. We're gonna get it centered, okay, like this. Then we're gonna take some foil tape. Got some little pieces here. We're gonna start taping it on there. Then we're gonna put this down in our vise on the drill press, and we're gonna start with a small hole. We don't know if we're going to drill all the way through. On my stove I had to redo it because it kept pulling out when I tried epoxying a piece of bolt, threaded bolt in there. We may go all the way through and countersink a carriage bolt in here. And we don't like the look, we can always put some JB Weld or epoxy. I got some of this. This stuff takes a long time to dry. Took 2 days on one thing I used on, but there's a video on YouTube that shows how to mix the extra hardener so it dries quicker. So there is videos on YouTube about that PC7. But back to the subject. I'll take a picture when it's over at the drill press. So we're going to get this centered. These had like a little stem coming off. See where I've ground that? So that's to my advantage. Some of them had like an indented circle too. So either way, it's easy to find the center. I've already center punched it. Close enough, it's just a knob. So let's talk more work. You're going to see a few pictures here at the end of how I have it set up in the vise so I can drill down through it. So stay tuned. Real quick here, the aluminum tape didn't want to hold very good on the socket, so we got it straight all the way around. We wrapped some electrical tape around it, and we still could mush it and then wrapped a little more tape. So off to the drill press. Okay, we put some of this epoxy on the threads, put it down in there. If you get it on the threads, wipe it off. We just use alcohol. That's 91%. I like it. It's only like $1.50 at the dollar stores. Okay, then we sanded this all off. It did not come out straight. Even though I had my socket thing, it's not really straight. But next we're going to use this to fill this in, okay? Now, if you was going to make a shifter knob or something, you wouldn't be going all the way through. But I found on my door handles, I'm sure I mentioned it, that they'd come loose. This way they won't. I've got a bolt here to keep that tight till everything cures. We're going to mix this up. Now, part A is with gray. I even looked at a pack that ain't open. Excuse me. I'm assuming, because it's the gray-white color in there, not the black, that it is a hardener. So we're going to double up on it. I watched a YouTube video. I should have went in and found it, watched again. There's a video on YouTube by the company or somebody that shows you can add extra hardener. Because like I said, I used this 50-50. It took like 2 days for it to get totally cured hard. So we're off doing that. We're going to put it in here. When that cures, it's probably going to be another day. You'll see me after I sand this off what it looks like. So back to work. So this is a real long video of just monkeying around with a little knob. Stay tuned. This is 220 sandpaper here, but we started out, we had this glove on it, we took some old emery paper, saw it was gummy. That was probably a couple hours ago. I let it set in front of my heater a little bit. It's hardened up some. Then we took some cheapy from the Dollar Tree, cheapy sandpaper, 100 grit, and we got it all shaped. Went like this. We just went like this too to come up to where it is. That's the exact shape of the hole. And now we're just feathering that little fine edge so I can't feel it. Just some 220. Like that. So this will all be sanded and painted. I usually have a little flat black left around in cans. I'll you scuff these up with 220 sandpaper and shoot it with some flat black, and when it cures after a day, you can rub it with a rag and it'll get shiny and it'll look like a black plastic knob. Even though you shine a strong light through it, you'll be able to see it. So there you go. Next time you see it, it'll be all painted and be done. So we'll get back to work. That's just some coloring in the stuff. That's not dense. Just dark lines. Next time you see it, it'll be painted. I'll show you what it looks like. So we'll sand the whole thing. Still got our bolt and nut on here to hold that tight. So stay tuned. Okay, we used our flat black paint. Actually, we used this header paint. That's what I'm going to paint the stove with. Then what we did is we took our rag and we was catching a little lint here like it wasn't really dry up here, because this stuff might not be fully cured. So we took an alcohol swab and then cleaned everything up. You can see where it is. Okay, close. That sanding it, I got a lot of rough in there from sanding it, but we're gonna go with it. It's just a stove knob. I mean, it's gonna get wore by grabbing it, so for now that's what we're gonna use. I've been using this to hold this, even I had the epoxy in it overnight, and then with sanding it, I've been using that little tube to set it in there while I was working and sanding, so that worked good. So there you go. There's our finished knob. Said make sure when you put epoxy on this screw in there, if you do this, put it in there, you clean it off with some alcohol or something. There's a little bit in the threads, but it'll just help it hold. This will probably be one of those nylon nylock nuts holding that on. But there you go. We'll snap a photo of it. We're done. Too long a video how to drill a hole in a knob and paint it. So thanks for watching.